All right, guys, welcome back to the Project 54 movement. It's your host, Steve Pedroza. We got a good guest today, good friend of mine. They met over a year and a half ago, my buddy Adolfo. Hey, thanks
for having me, brother.
I appreciate it, man. So today we're going to be just going through a couple different, questions, couple different things. And I think one of the things it's just be, as authentic as possible. Like, as I met you, I think over a year and a half ago, right? I think we're going like this February will be 2 years, since we joined the group and stuff like that, and then we'll talk about that. But just introduce yourself, man. Like, kind of your yourself, your upbringing, married, kids, all that stuff, man.
Yeah. So my name is Adolfo. I'm from the San Fernando Valley, born and raised in LA. Kind of love my roots in the San Fernando Valley. It's hot, but I love it out there. I have 2 kids. I have adult kids. I still have a hard time kind of dealing with that, right? How do you say adult kids, adult children, exactly. Right? So I have a 28-year-old daughter and I have a 21-year-old son, who I am, very proud of. They're the reason why I'm still here, from the roller coaster lifestyle that I chose to put upon myself. I got a lovely, she's not my wife, but, could be considered my wife. I got a lovely partner, who's been with me for 20-something years.
Oh wow! Yeah,
don't tell her I said that. So she's actually put up with me for quite some time, and she's gone through this roller coaster with me as well. And now we're both on this journey of self-development and becoming better versions of ourselves, so that we could be better parents, we could be better partners to each other, and be a reflection to those around us.
Nice, man. Yeah. And I remember, when I met you and your I was gonna say wife, but we'll go with your I
don't know if it's girlfriend. You can say wife. It's
wife.
Fine.
We'll say wife. Right?
Yeah.
Hopefully she doesn't get mad at me, but I think
she won't.
She
I promise she won't.
I think we'd be good, dude. But yeah, dude. I remember we met at a mastermind. We met at a mastermind where it was different for me. And I know we both kind of came from the same type of background, so we both kind of like entered the I would say that circle of masterminds kind of at the same time. Like we're kind of like, we talked about like, I don't know, man, like what are we is this where we're supposed to be at and things like that. We had conversations at that, and so let's talk about that a little bit, man. Like, how was your, your feeling about when you joined the mastermind?
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, even just joining the mastermind, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I was following, RBO for quite some time, because I was in a dark spot in my life, right? And I started to realize that I was just existing. I didn't have a purpose. I really didn't know why I was doing what I was doing, why I was running a business. And so I started listening to the podcast, and, started kind of bringing clarity to my life. And, I signed up for it. Never in a million years that I think I was actually going to get a call. And when I did get the call, Corey called me, shout outs to Corey. Corey called me, and, we kind of aligned. And, he was like, I think the guys were in San Diego. He was like, dude, you got to go out to San Diego and meet the guys. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but he kind of haunted me down a little bit, bro. Because, I kind of was like, I don't know if I, the imposter syndrome kind of kicked in, right? Like, I don't know if I belong there. I don't even know what this thing's about. And so eventually, obviously, I signed up. I went there. I didn't know what to expect. I do a lot of networking. So, like, I belong to networking groups where it's more of a referral partner type deal, right? You just kind of lead generating. And so I kind of thought it was going to be the same sort of thing, but at a really high level. Right? And so when we walk in and, you're getting hugged and, we go, the first thing we do is the breath work.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was just like, wow, like this is something completely different. And, Adriana did come out for that mastermind. And so she got firsthand, after, we were there for whatever, all day. I came home or I got back into the room, and I was a hot mess, man, I sat there, and she had never seen me cry other than when my mother passed away.
Yeah.
You know, and even then she saw me cry once. You know,
Yeah.
and so I came into the room and you know I kind of just laid it on her
Yeah.
like you know I was able to feel again.
Got it.
I was able to show emotion and share emotions with her because at the end of the day, you know, she's been my biggest supporter.
Yeah.
You know, she's kind of been with me through the whole thing, from the beginning of opening up a business and you know the struggles that you go with.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly, man.
opening up a business, and so you know it was. I think it was. You know, we talk about it a lot now. It was heartwarming for her to see that I was actually human, right? And that I
Yeah.
actually feel and I think it's something that she had been waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, she kind of knew it was in me.
Yeah.
She just didn't know how to get it out and RBO was able to get
Get
that
it
out
out.
within day one.
There's a lot of things
situation.
those dudes get out of you, dude. It's crazy, man. But so kind of go back I'll kind of go back a little bit. So I know, you know, you talked about, you know, kind of being hesitant on making that leap. What was it like? What was it that you think or that you could reflect on that made you like, all right, you know, if it was the money part, if it was something that Corey said or someone said that just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Like, what was that point that if you could remember, what was it that drawn you like, all right, I'm all in, and what's gonna happen?
Yeah, so I think that A was trying to justify the money. So I do have a business partner, right, Luis, and I had to justify the money with him, right, because I was going to pull the money from the business. And so we sat down, and he and I had already talked about the RBO thing because again I was listening to the podcast,
Yeah.
and I would bring it to him, and I would shoot it to him, and be like, dude, you got to check out these episodes, right? And so when we sat down and talked about it, and I was like, dude, this is going to cost me X amount of money. You know, it's going to cost us X amount of money, and I can't guarantee you an ROI. You know what I mean? Like, it's eventually what this is going to do is it's going to hopefully make me a better person so that I could come back, pour it into you, pour it into the company, and then we could grow the company based on, you know, on the effects that I have within the
Yeah.
group. And so I think that was the pivotal moment for me is when he literally stood up and he was like, dude, you're like lit up right now. Like you're glowing.
Yeah.
You know, like you need to do this. Like stop thinking about the money. Stop thinking about how you're gonna do that. You know, the whole flying out and being gone from the business for 4 days. Like again, I don't take vacations. You know, I'm always there. And so it wasn't not just the money. It was like I also have to be gone for 4 days. You know, and you guys have to kind of deal with the business on its own. And so I think that was a pivotal moment. So Adriana was on board. I had got her on board. My kids were on board. It was just my business partners. And so when he kind of stood up and he was like, "You have to do this," because I could see how excited you are just talking about it. I can only imagine what it's gonna be like when you come back. And sure enough, like, dude, at lunchtime, that first mastermind at lunchtime, I was on the phone with him, like, you know,
This is crazy,
like,
huh?
crazy. And he was like, "Dude, I'm glad we did this," and like, you know, soak it all in so you can tell me more.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't cry yet.
Yeah.
I didn't cry until I got back. And the same thing, right? Like, even when I got back, dude, like, you know, I realized, like, I think I've told you this before, like, I just hugged, you know, I think it was like 30 of us at the time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
30 strangers,
Yeah, dude. That was crazy.
right? And I sat there and I realized, when was the last time I hugged my son? When was the last time I hugged my brother? You know, my mom had already passed away.
And a
but it was
hug.
like,
Not like a side hug.
yeah, I'm talking about a hug,
yeah,
like
yeah.
a real hug, right? Not like this, you know, one-handed
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, exactly. And so like, you know, it was that reflection. And when I got back and I gave my business partner a hug, he gave me a hug and he was like, "Dude, I want to know everything about this
Yeah.
because this is a new Adolfo already."
Yeah.
Just with that alone, you know, was a change. And so that for me, that was the big, you know, the big moment that made me shift and was like, I'm all in.
Yeah, and you know what? It's crazy because that's, I mean, like, for me, I had that when I hugged Trevor and Kale in San Diego. So I was able to, I'm very, I need a, like, the transaction needs to be, like, personable. Like, we need to, like, what's up? Like, if it's, you know, growing up where I grew up, we're going to have a problem or altercation or anything, love, hate, any type of relationship, it's in person. We're going to deal with it, right? So I remember when I got the call from Corey, same thing. I was in the parking lot in downtown Pomona. I was driving, I think from a construction site, and I stopped in my hometown. It was weird, right? And got the call, and he's the same thing with me in San Diego. I was like, cool, let's meet. Like I'll move things around. To my wife. My wife's like, okay, like, all right. Like she wasn't against it, but it was just kind of different because I wasn't on that I guess the level anything. I never even really talked about it.
Right.
It was just like I seen it. I was following them, and then I met them in San Diego, and my wife's like, oh yeah, just be there. Oh, my wife was always the biggest supporter, but I would just kind of like I don't know, but when I met them, when I met Corey, it was genuine. Like from like when you ever like when you give someone that handshake, that hug, and it just flows. But there's some of those awkward ones. It's like the clap's wrong or the handshake's wrong, or it's like like one of those moments. It wasn't like that, And then when I got to the event they were at, I can't remember what they were at. They were sponsoring some event in San Diego. Went up to them, dude. It was just like I knew them from years, dude. Like handshake, hug, boom. All right, I'm with it. Here you go. Here's a check. Let me go down to my car. There you go. I got it.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of it is I think their persona and just the vibe that they give out, both, Corey and Trevor and Kel and even and Corey, right? Is very welcoming, dude. It's very family oriented, right? Like you said, like immediately, like you have this attraction, this connection to them. Even listening to them, right? Like people listen to them, and you hear this a lot on their podcast. Like they listen to an episode and then they go back to episode 1 and start hearing from the beginning. I know I did that, right? Because it was something that I connected with. I think something that Trevor said, about his past, and I was like, dude, that's me. I got to hear this from the beginning because I got to know the whole story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you come in and it's almost like you already know these guys.
Yeah, and it's just so crazy. And once that happened, and then I was a little, to be honest, I'm not scared of much, but when I got on that flight, I was just like, dang, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Like, what am I getting myself into?
Yeah, totally.
And same thing, it was just I don't have a business partner. It was me, and still my business, but we've been open for 3 years, going on 4 years, and it's like it's very young in my career in my business. Where I'm still young in my career in my business, and I was like, man, I'm gonna step away. It's gonna be tough. But I was like, let me just go all in. And I got there. Was a little nervous. My palms are sweating. I was like, got down, and then everybody, meeting you and talking to Donnie, talking to a lot of people that we all connected with. But then the first actual meetup that day was with Dr. Shannon, and I love her, man. That she like brings out like every freaking arsenal in you, dude. It's freaking for every arsenal, every freaking tier you have in your life, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah, just how you said, like I stood up, and I remember I said about my experience during the breath work, and there's no way in heck I ever cried talking about something in front of 30 people I do not even know.
Right.
There's no way I'm doing that, dude. No way.
This was an hour or 2 in.
Dude, yeah, exactly, dude. I don't know any of these people. I was like, I don't even do that in front of I barely did that in front of my family, if that,
Right.
And so that's when I knew it was real, and it was just something so different, and I think it's it just grown like little compound over time, more and more and more, So like, how was it, once you left the first meetup, when you went home? Like, how was it when you went home, and like the brotherhood, I would say, and sisterhood, because we do have
totally.
women that are part of the RBO as well. How did that feel for you? Like, from the brotherhood, the camaraderie, and then leaving there, going home, and then now it's real life.
Yeah, I think that's where it really hits you, right? And you really understand if you're really prepared to take on the next challenge, right? Or the next chapter, which is putting it into practice, right? Yeah. Taking action, because it feels great. It's almost like I don't want to say on vacation, but it's almost like you take a break from your daily stress, right?
Yeah.
And then you get fed all these wonderful things and ideas and things that you could just come back home and really implement. But then you get home and it's just a pile of stuff is waiting for you, right? And so for me, it was great. I came back feeling super light. I felt better than I did my entire life. Um, Again, it was just like a lot of the weight was lifted off my shoulders, right? Again, my mom's passing. I think I was carrying that, and through the breath work, I was able to finally
Release
allow
some of that.
myself to let that go and realize that you know that life is going to go on, and that I have a greater purpose than what I thought was my purpose prior to that. And so, coming back, it was really setting a precedence to put things in action, right? So first thing was first was sitting down with my family, right? Not only my immediate family, like my kids and my girl Adriana, but my brother, my sisters, right? And like really talking to them and letting them know how I feel, and how things are going to change, and kind of preparing them for what was coming. That makes
True.
sense.
Yeah.
And then I did the same thing with the business, right? I sat down with my business partner. I kind of poured into him what I learned, and what how we were going to change things, and how we were going to proceed moving forward, and how he could also change his life, right?
Yeah.
And so I felt great as far as like the brotherhood and the sisterhoods that we formed out there. I could honestly say that I probably didn't take advantage of that as much as I could have, right? Because I came back so focused on ensuring that
Yeah.
my inner circle was,
Exactly.
getting poured into, that one of the biggest things for me, and I love the word vulnerability,
Yeah.
right? Because it's hard.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's hard to be vulnerable. We weren't born, we
Yeah.
weren't raised with that mindset, and so asking for help has been very, very tough. And so I did the Michael Burnoff
Yeah.
event. I think you
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
you did that as well now.
I did the I signed up. I did like the all
The phone one.
the phone ones and the
Yeah.
Zoom ones, and then you know what things kind of got away from me. I wasn't able to attend the event, but yeah,
Yeah. So in the Michael Burnoff thing, they talk about your human rights, and one of your human rights was your right to be independent, right, and the right to be dependent. And so I think that growing up and being told, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. You can't rely on somebody else. You have to be the go getter.
yeah,
So that took away my dependency, and it made me very independent. And so I always felt like if I have to go do something, I have to do it on my
you
own,
do it yourself, right?
right? And I have to go through the hard way, right? I can't ask for help. There's no shortcuts, right? Because asking for shortcuts is just not the right way to do it.
Yeah,
And so I still struggle with that today, right? Because it's hard for me to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm struggling with something. Can you help me?" And I know that I have really badass individuals that I could pick up the phone and, just hear me out.
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter if you don't tell me anything, just hear me out. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and I think that's what some of the things like, and that like part of the group is like how you said, like I didn't use everybody in the very beginning because we had to knock down that wall
Right.
of being vulnerable. Like knocking down that wall, being vulnerable is it opens up a lot. It opens up people to hurt you. It opens up to people to make you better. There's a lot of different pieces to that could happen. Like, and I believe just what you said, like the group is so powerful because they listen. They listen, and it's not in any way, shape, or form, or I never felt that way where it was like they're judging you, they're doing any of that. Like, okay, cool. Well, these are other ways that I have done it, and it gives you a bigger perspective on how if it's business, personal, and even that. Like when I joined the group, I thought it was gonna be a lot about business, like
Right.
like real business owners, right?
Right.
But there was a lot. There is business involved,
Yeah.
but like to be honest, personally, oh, dude, like I think they have the ultimate like equation figured out. It's like you work on yourself, the business just follows.
Yeah.
You know, like I literally like catapulted my company tremendously because I worked on myself. It wasn't really things that I did business wise, but it was a reflection of how I worked on me, how I showed up, how I was able to feel more, how I was able to show my team that I care. That literally just boom, 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 boom. It just started like domino effect.
Yeah. So real business owners are ran by real people.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. When you start working on yourself, you start creating a culture, right? You start believing in core values. You know, you start living your life in a certain way, and you're going to attract that amount of people. And I love, you know, I don't know where I heard it, but somebody said it, and I've repeated it 1,000 times now. Is, you know, people do business with people, right? They don't do business with a brand usually, right? Unless you're like a big brand like Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah.
But usually it's like for us small business owners, right? People are doing business because of us.
Yeah.
There's something that attracted us to them,
Exactly.
right? And you could attest to this, right? Most customers want to talk to you. I think we've had this conversation, right? They're like, Steve, when are you gonna come, or when are you gonna pick up the phone, right? And you're like, my staff is well equipped to handle whatever situation you've got, but they're so accustomed to you, and they're like, we started doing business with you, right, with Steve Pedroza, and so we want to keep that relationship going. And so when you work on yourself and you start showcasing this new version of you, this next generation of you, you know, version 2.0, version 2.1, whatever the case may be.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know, you start attracting, and again, like you said, the business kind of takes off with it because you start bringing in the right people, and everybody starts looking at the vision the same way.
Yeah, and I think it's what I really like notice a lot is like I would say it's like the impact that I've been leaving on people around me, my team members, and just other people in general, and that's the win there. Like, and we were talking about it earlier, like, you know, from people buying their first car that work for me, from people buying their first house, that's freaking like, dude, aha moment for me.
Right.
Like, there'd be times I'll just sit in my office and I'm just looking around. I'm like, dang, this is cool, man. Like, and those are my wins. Those are my wins. Like, yeah, we could, you know, make millions and millions of dollars, but you know, that's you know, it's all external stuff. That stuff really impacted their, you know, their family. Like, they're able to put a better roof over their head. They're able to get to point A to point B in a safer vehicle. We're impacting people, and I think that's the biggest thing for myself and even you. Like, we connect in a lot of different levels. Like, you know, it's funny. I think we at the first RBO we had lunch or breakfast together, and then the next one we did the same thing right before we left, and no, it was the last one.
Yeah, we had breakfast the last day.
The last day, and then the last event for the year, we had dinner together. Yeah, in Vegas, right? Yeah. So that was all pretty cool. All that stuff was really, really cool. So like, where do you like? It's kind of let's kind of switch it up a little bit. Like, your upbringing, right? I know you. Your mom passed away. How many years ago?
So my mom passed away 5 years, August 15th.
August 15th. Just like a week ago, or a week ago, something like that.
And so, so I am the second born. So I have an older brother. 2 years, we're 2 years apart, and then two younger sisters. We grew up single mom. I remember the last time I remember my dad kind of being in the picture, I was maybe 7, 8 years old. But it's funny because I remember all of it, right? Like, I remember seeing my mom cry, and the fights, and, you know, I didn't understand it because, you know, I was little. Yeah. And so, like, I was carrying a lot of this stuff for all my life. And so, you know, growing up, we gave her a hard time. You know, we moved a lot, so we could never really have friends, right, that last a long time, because every year we were going to a different school because she had to move because she couldn't afford the place we were at, or whatever the case may be. I didn't understand that at the time. I thought she was just being mean and
just wanted to
moving us, right?
Yeah.
And so, got involved into, a lot of the street stuff, fighting and, just kind of being rebellious against, because I was angry,
Yeah.
right? I was angry at her, and I was angry at, you know, everything, at life. And so I put myself through pretty hard times. I did a lot of, drugs. I started messing around with drugs at 11, and alcohol, and kind of, you know, shifted all the way till I was about 16. About when I was 16, 15 years old, I I want to I want to say I overdosed, but I don't know because I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I woke up in the hospital, right?
Got
I was doing a bunch of shit, and I woke up in the hospital, and that was it. They basically said, you continue this life, you're gonna die.
So do you think at that time was that a switch for you?
It was absolutely a switch, and the big switch for me was seeing my mom the way it made my mom feel. You know what I mean? And at 11 years old, because I remember this vividly, we were in a pool, and I told my cousin and my brother, I'm gonna grow up and I'm going to make money so that mom doesn't have to work the way she does. You know what I mean? And so, like, I embedded that into me, and I
Yeah.
ensured that I went to school, and I started a career, and I started helping her. You know what I mean? And so I was kind of living the dream that I wanted to do. Again, going back to the purpose that I gave myself
Yeah.
at 11 years old was getting my mom out of that lifestyle that she had lived, right? And so, yeah, that was a pivotal moment for me. It was,
Yeah. So you had that point that you put like a responsibility you put on yourself at a
right.
young age, but you're still dealing with a lot of internal things
Yeah,
that cause you to drink, to do drugs, all that
yeah,
other stuff,
yeah,
and I could really like, like speak on the same thing, not having a father growing up, never meeting them, never any of that stuff. And just having my mom, and then I had a stepdad when I was about, I think, like 8 years old ish, about 8 years old. And then, but yeah, just getting involved in a lot of different things is just really like, just I don't know, like it was just weird. Like I just like getting in trouble. Like it was
yeah.
like it wasn't the cool thing, but like,
It's an
even all the
adrenaline.
way until like I do like I didn't have my head on straight until like I still like sometimes my head gets crooked a little bit, but for the most part, like it's pretty there. But like I remember, and dude, all the way until like I graduated high school. I graduated. I played sports. I still had a decent head where I was focused on this, but same thing. I was rebellious. I used to get in a lot of fights. I wasn't really into drugs. I was always very paranoid. So I was like, okay, I'm already paranoid as it is. If I do drugs, I'm gonna be like 10 times more paranoid. So I was like, oh, I'll drink to kind of more of a more like calm, like high, if you call it, like just being drunk and things like that.
Yeah,
Remember in high school, but then it maybe just remind me of a story right now, and I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but um, I think we were just talking about this. One of my really good friends that I grew up with in high school, and even when I got older, helped me out financially with some stuff. A lot of people don't know that. My wife does, but there's times, man, I couldn't even just pay for gas, and I was just in a hard spot. And I was like, probably like, I think I was like in my 21 years old. And my buddy George, and he just passed away a week ago, man, a week and a half ago, man. And what's crazy is he saved me. I'm not gonna go into, but he saved me. I just graduated from high school, and some people know this story. I just graduated from high school. I was with one of my other friends, and we're all going to a party. And it was a party that we weren't welcome there, put it that way. We weren't welcome there. And it was just going to be a bad situation. And, gonna, it kind of went into where we were about to get to the party, and we ended up getting pulled over by cops and things like that. And at that time, when it comes to protection and different things, it was a different story. But I remember my buddy, he drove by. We were pulled over. There was a little sickness on the sidewalk,
yeah,
and they yelled out like, other words, they, to the cops
Yeah.
and things like that. And they just told us, man, it's your guys' lucky day. And they left us and they went to go get them.
Oh.
But I thank them because, if they would have kept on doing what their job, it wouldn't have been came out good for me,
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man. Like the things that we used to do just because I don't know. I was just trying to find a outlet, to like be destructive and just kind of, you know, um, I guess fill that void, but it was never going to be fulfilled with that chaos.
Right. So I think it's a way, some people look for drugs, sex, food. I mean, you name it, right?
Yeah.
There's like you said, there's a void that actually you don't even probably think it's there. Like growing up, I don't remember like thinking,
Yeah,
"Oh,
huh?
I'm doing this destructively." It was just like, yeah, I'm young and
Yeah.
everybody's doing it type situation, and you think you're invincible, but bro, like I could think back and remember like doing drugs and being like, it's okay if I don't wake up. So I was never like, I never put a gun to my head or any of that stuff, right? But it was like, it's okay if I don't wake up. It's okay if like, and so it's like I wasn't thinking about being self-destructive, but then again I was, right? Because
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, I know that I've had enough. If I have more, it's going to be a problem, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. And so, it's when you go back and reflect on that, dude, like you realize, yeah, there was something missing. And listen, my mom was, she gave us all the love in the world, and my brother, my sisters, they were always there. They're very supportive. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It was, honestly, dude, I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
I learned a lot from it. Obviously, I wouldn't wish that on anybody else. I obviously don't want that for my son. But I feel like I had to go through all that to grow up and to become the person that I am today, and be of service, right?
Yeah.
Because now I don't, even though I'm working on myself continuously, I still want to serve others, right? I still think that we are all put on this earth to be of service, right?
Yeah, and then yeah, you hit it on the nose, and then we talk about this all the time, like even at all the different meetups, is like you do like I could literally like just serve people all day long, like talk to people, like I don't know if they're where they're at in their life. I don't know. We do group texts for all my team. I'm like, hey, today's be positive. Impact someone's life, things like that. Like you don't know, that person might be on their way home to put a gun to their head. They have a bottles of alcohol. They're gonna write a letter. You don't know any of that, man. And our job is, as long as we put a smile on someone's face and talk to them, because there's been times, yeah, I don't regret anything I did or any of that stuff, but times, yeah, like I would love if someone would have talked to me, someone different, because of course we're not gonna listen to our parents,
Right.
all that stuff. But someone genuine, someone just, hey man, like how you doing? Why are you doing that? Or like, hey, how was your day? And like, it's like one more second, one more minute. Like just think that one more time. I have purpose. I have value to bring here. Like for my kids, like I was just telling someone the other day, I talk a lot. I talk a lot to my kids and my wife. It's like, I could leave you life insurance. I could leave you houses, millions of dollars, all that. But what does that serve if I don't leave moments in time that we created and value I have taught you,
Right.
or you have taught me? What all that stuff could go away. Like it'll go away if you don't know how to manage it, right? If you don't know business, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, is like service, like an act of kindness, of caring, but really caring, man. Like it's like genuinely caring. There's people like, yeah, like blah blah blah. Like, well, I know that if something happened or whatever, you probably won't jump in front of that bullet for me, or you won't try to jump in front of that car, But we want to care for each other, and I think that's genuine. Like I get calls, like this year, and I was just expressing, like express like death has been very close to me
No.
this year, man. It's a season of I don't know, man. It's and even I haven't really shared this one much, but I shared it with you earlier. Is um, like it's hard for me to go to bed, man. Like my max, like I'm overthinking it, to be honest, man. I haven't, haven't even shared this with my wife, man. Like it's hard for the past 2 months. It's hard for me to go to bed. Like I fulfill I'm trying to like maximize my 24 hours to the second,
Right.
like, and you said something that hit me like hard, man. It's like yesterday, for example, last night, my wife's been a little like under the weather, and I got home. I was doing things with my kids. We took them a shower, put them in bed, and my son fell asleep on my chest. And I'm in my head. I'm like, okay, I did this, I did that, I did that, I did this. I looked at my phone, my emails. I got everything. I was like, there's more I have to do. There's more I have to do. I know there is. And like, cause I'm like, damn, if I don't wake up tomorrow morning, like, I want to make sure I fulfilled my day for my kids, my family, everything. But like, the answer was laying on my chest. It was my son.
Absolutely.
And dude, it was hard, man. It was hard for me to really like, like, and I thought about that even last night, and it just made me reflect again when we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
It just like I was scanning everything. I was like, okay, like, all right, well, there's that. All right, there's some toys on the floor. I could pick that up. There's some dishes. Oh, we'll put those in the dishwasher. Like, what else do I have to do? And I just like literally like I looked and I just seen him, and he was on my chest. I give him a kiss on his forehead, and he's asleep, and it's like, yeah, like it's sometimes it's that close to us, man.
Yeah. Sometimes it's right in front of us, man. It's like I told you, I had the same experiences when my son was smaller and sleeping on my chest, and I didn't value that time, just hearing him breathe, right, and seeing that peace of a child. Child brings
Yeah.
so much peace to your life, bro. And just being present in that moment, right, and that is maximizing your 24, right, because you've maximized the time that you have, because in 5-10 years, he's not gonna be, he's not gonna be
can't do that
sleeping
no more,
on
yeah.
on your chest, right? And so, just really capitalizing on those moments is key, and being able to slow back down and, and realize the beauty that you have in front of you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is just like slowing down. Like, so now, like you have these past, say a couple of years to present, like, have you seen yourself slow down and be more efficient and more productive with your time than before? It just like go, 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 go.
Yeah, I was running around like a headless chicken. And so
Yeah.
I would always say, I'm really busy, right? Like, I get up at 3 a.m, dude. I've been doing this routine for a very long time. And at 3 a.m, it was like, 3 cups of coffee on the computer, doing work and what I thought was being productive, right? But my health was shit. My relationships were shit, right? And so I put all my eggs into one basket, which was the business, right? The business has to grow. The business has to do this. The business has to do that. And so, with the RBO and all the stuff that I've been doing the last couple of years is allowing myself to slow down and realize, okay, if I'm going to continue to get up at 3 a.m. because my body is just accustomed to it now, let's do something productive, right? Let's get better at my faith. So now I read the Bible, right? And I really try to have a relationship with my Creator, right? Like, what is my purpose today? What is it that you're trying to show me today? And what I ask every day is, shine your light not only on me but through me, so that the people around me could get a glimpse of your light, of your love, right?
Yeah.
Let me love others the way you love me, right? And so I do that. Then I exercise, right?
Dude.
It's my me time.
Yeah. So what do you like? People don't know. I know like, it's not the pounds that you're counting, but I know you feel amazing now
Yeah, totally.
compared to when we,
The first meetup.
first meetup. What are you down like
From the first meetup, like 70 pounds.
70 pounds?
Yeah, about 70 pounds now.
And how you feel?
I feel amazing, dude. Again, a lot more energy.
Yeah.
Again, refocused. I understand. I still have my laps, right?
Yeah.
But again, I'm able to slow things down, realize where can I be productive, right? I don't need to be busy.
Yeah.
I could be productive, right? I could shut my phone off. My phone could go on do not disturb at 5 o'clock, and the world's not going to end. You know what I mean? And I could focus on my family. I could focus on continuing to build a relationship with my kids. Right? My kids are adults, but that doesn't mean it's too late. I'm still here. They're still here. We still have time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so rebuilding those relationships and continuing on living for a better today so that tomorrow could be that 1% better.
Exactly, man. And I think those are things that you had to work on yourself so you could pour into their cups. Yeah. Correct, right? And I think that's one of the conversations I had was I was struggling once I came back from some of the meetups was I just couldn't figure out how to pour into other people's cup because like I was like, man, they should be doing this, they should be doing that, and then it was hard for me to kind of like like for my team to personal, like from friends to like my circle got smaller to my family. Like, how do I manage this? And I had to slow down. I had to slow down. And I said this saying the other day, it's how much time do you want to invest into you? How much money, as I won't say like, we'll call it money, but like how much experience, time, value, care, all that stuff you want to throw into yourself, right? And I was telling someone the other day was like, you have a car and you have a plane. They both get you from A to B, right?
Right.
That's their job to get you A to B, right? One, depending on what type of car you got, 40, 50, 60K, on something basic, and you could go up to, a couple 100K if you get something fancy. But for the most part, we'll go with that, right? But then you have a plane, right? Millions of dollars, right? And it's is designed to take you there faster, right? And it's the amount of money that they put in there. It's like the amount of energy you put into yourself. It's when you're in the car and you're going 80 miles, you go 120 miles per hour, everything's just zooming by, boom, 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 boom. But when you're in the plane, you're going, I don't know how fast, but you're going, I don't know how fast you go in the plane, but you're able to see everything clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Like 500 miles an hour.
Yeah, 700 miles per hour or something like that. But you're able to see everything clear.
Yeah.
It's while it's all the components that are in it that you're able to slow down time.
Right.
That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, wait a minute, we're going 700 miles per hour, but I can see exactly what's on the house, what's there, what's that. But in this car, because you're not putting the right stuff in it to get it to where you want it to be at, right? Yeah. So I think it's looking within, right? Looking within to find the true self, and I think it's everything. We're all so focused on outside stuff. It's like, man, like just look within, man. Like look within and see what you can find. And I pull out some stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna throw that one away. I don't need that no more, man.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fun journey, man. I would say it's a fun journey, and I'm glad that we got to meet each other through the mastermind, and we're going out to Dallas next week.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool, man. And that'll be pretty cool to be out there for a couple of days at the RBO Live. Not a sales pitch, but if you guys haven't got your tickets, get them.
Absolutely.
But that, and then you know what? Let's talk about your business, man. Let's talk a little bit about your business. You're in the IT networking type of business.
Yeah. So company name is Active Networks. We officially got started in 2006 as a IT company, so doing business to business, concentrating on voice and communication, servers, computers, and 2008, we all obviously know what happened there.
Yeah.
But a lot of the audio video guys that were doing, residential stuff, started calling us because their networks weren't correct, right? And so that's really where like Netflix and Hulu and all that really started kicking off the subscription services, and the network really is the core of any system, right?
Yeah.
And so we started helping them out, and then realized, well, we don't need them; they need us. We could kind of start doing this for ourselves, and so that's when my business partner kind of came in, and we kind of ventured more into the residential services, and so now I would say we're maybe 85% residential, where we do complete, home automation solutions, real smart homes where, either from a command, tablet, your phone, or a push of a button, or even just,
Yeah.
doing like something simple as opening a door, that your whole house comes alive, right? So it knows Steve is in the house, and Steve likes, Monday Night Football, and it's football season, so certain lights come on, the football game turns on, when your wife Justine comes in, something different happens,
Yeah.
maybe some romantic music, or her favorite music,
Yeah.
and so that's a real smart home, right? And when you don't have to think about it, like, hey, did I turn the lights on, at night? You'll never come to a dark home, right? They'll automatically come on. Same thing with daytime, right? Lights will automatically come off to save you money, and electricity. Shades come down to hold the temperature of the house. And so, I really love what I do. Again, I think I put it together as being, part of a service, and I don't mean a transaction, right? Being of service to people. So when I walk into somebody's houses, I'm not selling you a product, right? I'm selling you an experience, right? So I really need to understand how you live, how many people are in the home, and how can we elevate your life? How much time can I save you, right?
Yeah.
If you have a 11,000 square foot home and you have to walk around the whole house figuring out what lights are on and off, right? It's going to take you some time.
Some time to do that.
And so if I could save you some time by pushing a button that says good night or goodbye, and the house shut down, I just saved you some time so that you could spend it with the people that you love, with the folks that really should be getting most of your time.
Most of your time, yeah.
I love what I do, man. Again, I've been in the industry since '97 in the tech industry. Seen a lot of changes. My business partner, again, he's been with me since about '08, maybe '09. Yeah, we're
So let me ask you a couple. Let me ask you a question on that. Is, how is that like? It's I don't know because I don't have a business partner. How is that, man? Is it like another like set of eyes? Is it like another, how does that?
So it actually works great, dude. I think that, so we're cousins,
Okay.
right? But we never had a relationship as cousins because he's much younger than I am, and so, when we started working together, when we just started working together, he wasn't a partner yet, and both his mom and my mom were like, "This is gonna be a disaster. You guys are gonna mess up the family, right?
Yeah.
You should never mix business with family." And now we realized that we were very, very similar in our mindset, right? And we were both really intrigued with helping others, and seeing people grow, and again, just bringing value to those around us. And so we really clicked. Yeah, there's always things that we agree to disagree on, but we're both very respectful to each other. We drew a line and we never cross it. In business, we're business partners. We're not family. And even if something's going on in the business, we could go have dinner together as a family.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
And that's hard to do because, like,
Very hard to
for me, like, when it comes to work, it's work and in business.
Yeah.
And then when it comes, like, my wife's all like, I don't know if you want to go work for Steve, like, because, hey, this is the what you call the NFL. This is the big boys,
Yeah.
right? This is the big boys and what we do, and you're gonna like, if you can't hang, then you can't hang. Like, I have a mentor of mine is like, we'll be literally having a heated conversation right after. Hey, what are you and Justine doing for dinner? Let's go. Like, and it's perfectly fine because knowing how to separate the two.
Yeah. And establishing that at the beginning is key, because if you don't establish that and then you try to establish that later, then it becomes a problem. So we
Yeah.
did it from day one. It was like, here's the
Boom.
line, bro. At work, I'm not your cousin. You know what I mean? We're colleagues,
Yeah.
and that's it. And when I came to him, because I went to him to become a partner, we went out to dinner, and I said, hey, you're at a point where you could go do this on your own, right? I've taught you everything that I know. You could either do this on your own, or we could partner together and kind of take this to the next level. and we talked out the details, and he was like, "Listen, I'd want to do it with you." So
Nice.
that's kind of how it happened.
Oh man, that's super cool. And that's always like like thinking about it. Like, and I ask people all the time, like, like when it, like, profit shares, things like that when it comes to business. But like, I don't know, like it's always weird. Like it's just like I just never done it. So like once we get there, it's like, because I would eventually, um, with this company or even another company, the other companies I do have, like partner with someone because it's different, a different lens.
Yeah,
I would probably say
totally.
totally different lens. Like he's probably different than the way you are, the
Yeah.
way you guys view things, and it's kind of will get you to that next level faster.
Yeah, he's totally an operations guy, and I'm a visionary, right? I'm bouncing around idea and idea, and
Yeah.
he's like, "All right, calm
Yeah, he's
down."
that integrator.
Yeah, he's the integrator. He's like, "Calm down. I love this one. Let's really concentrate on this one. How do we
Yeah.
execute? Because you could come up with a gazillion ideas, but we need to execute."
Yeah.
And so he's really good at that, and
That's good.
and he's elevated the business because of that. But yeah, I actually love having a business partner, and I'm glad that we've never really gone into any kind of dispute that we can't
Yeah,
can't talk ourselves out of type situation. But again, it was drawing that line early on. I think was key for us.
That's good. So now, we'll talk a little bit. We're on the business part, but business part. What's your goals right now? What are your goals business wise in the next 5-10 years? And then what are your goals personal?
Yeah. So on the professional side, we're both in we're both mapping out our exit strategy, right? And so again, I've been doing this for 20 something years. I'm not burned out, but I realize that I need to allow the next, the next the next person to kind of start creating or continuing the legacy of the company. And I could dedicate X amount of hours to the company a week or a month, whatever the case may be, but I don't have to be there on a day-to-day basis, right? I could still do the relationship building because I love talking to people.
Yeah.
But I don't have to be involved in the operations. So in the next 5 to 10 years, we're essentially building the leaders for tomorrow that are going to run the company. Our project manager right now is a great candidate. He's got the right mindset. He loves what he does, and he's all in. And so we're molding him to be the next guy that takes over. And so that's for the business side, and my business partner's full in.
Yeah.
And then as far as personal, is continuing to grow, dude. Continuing to work on myself and be impactful. Be as impactful as possible to those around me. I have a really big thing for kids. You know what I mean? On helping kids, be better. Again, be that mentor that we both wish we had when we were growing up. Somebody that really talks to you genuinely, right? And makes you think things differently. Like, why am I doing all this, right? Without judging you, without feeling judged or anything like that.
Yeah. So like on that note, would you think if the Adolfo now, right, met the 13-year-old, 14-year-old Adolfo, how would that conversation go?
Oh,
How would you think that would go?
it would. I think 14-year-old Adolfo would finally cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would just kind of realize, help the 14-year-old version of me realize that A, not everything is your fault. B, you don't have to carry everybody's weight. Nobody's asking you to do that. You're carrying it because you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's okay to feel and be a kid. You know what I mean? It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to ask for help. You don't have to figure it all out on your own, and you're never alone.
That's good. Yeah, that's always like always like like not listening to people and things like that. But like it's always funny. It's always like I tell people like, the reason kind of the one of the reasons why for this podcast like I enjoy talking to people. That is my therapy.
Yeah.
That is my therapy. That is, like I said, the only person that could fix Steve is Steve.
Yeah.
Like, like
Yeah.
bulbs just pop off. Like when I've been talking to you since we started, it just like, understanding that, it is challenging to hear people out and like listen to people sometimes. Like I still struggle with that now.
Yeah.
Like, if it's my wife asking me like, or telling me this, or even some of my really good business friends, or, it just, you know, resonating with me. So like, kind of like the question I asked you is like, only Adolfo will know how to talk to Adolfo at 14 years old.
Totally.
You know, getting that, like how to maneuver yourself to get that angle.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm gonna get you. Boom, here you
Yeah.
go. And so I think it's a cool thing. If we had the ability to do that, just
Yeah.
even just a talk.
Right.
Like I see kids nowadays, and I think I was talking to Tom. Yeah, it was maybe a couple months ago, and we were talking about like doing some like nonprofit work for like kids, because it's like like my there's that song, what, kids are the future,
Yeah.
like but it is true, man. But like
Yeah.
the thing is, what are our kids learning now? Like, and I think it's one of the things that's like, just be as real as you can, and authentic, and as caring, and just, it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I do it more than I did before. A lot more. But I think that's, and I do have a sensitive part to that, to kids, and especially in urban areas where
Yeah.
I grew up at. I am very, a lot of the districts and people I work with now, I work in different areas, very, nice suburb districts, and but a lot of them are in urban areas, and I connect really well with a lot of these students, and I'm just like, man, like, hey, dude, like, you don't need to be doing that, man. And I just talk to them, I resonate them with pretty well, and it's pretty cool, like, for them to look up, they're like, hey, you own a company, like you're like, you're
Right.
bald, Hispanic dude, tattoos. Like I was like, yeah, dude, like,
Yeah.
it's all right, you could do it,
Yeah.
but I really resonate with that, man. Like helping kids out and getting them to the next level, because they might not have a dad, they might not have a mom, they might not have one or the other, or they're fighting with their own demons inside, because we were that at one point in time,
Yeah.
man. And so, but yeah, and then you know what, it's it's always good to, like, talk with you, speak with you, like, like we went through, all these mastermind, like these masterminds with RBO together, and things like that. And what is something that you would tell people, that either is on the fence, either is like, having that hard time to join a group like this, or even testing it out, what would you say to them?
I think that the biggest thing that you could do is, have conversation with yourself. Be real with yourself. Is this something that you could give yourself all into, right? Are you going to be committed to making the changes, to taking action, right? Because the hoorah, the rah moments, they're always going to be there. And like I said at the beginning, right? It's when you come back to real life, when you come back to your day to day, are you really prepared to look within, right? And deal with the battles within, and make the changes necessary for
Mr.
yourself.
Podcast.
That's my podcast.
Battles
The
within,
battles
dude.
within, yeah. And make the changes within yourself so that you could pour into people, not only from an empty cup, from a dirty cup, right? You want to clean out your cup, and if you're committed to doing that, listen, there's no money in the world, or time that should hold you back. You know, go.
Yeah, we had a conversation in Vegas.
Yeah.
Remember, in a room with
Yeah.
the other people and things like that, and it was talking about, money, and talking about that. And I literally, and I think I think you seconded it, is I will spend anything. Like, I'm not gonna give up my last born, but like I would spend a lot of money, give up things, my kidney, whatever it is. Trev Kale, don't try to take my kidneys, dude. But just letting you know, like it's real, guys. Like, this shit's real. Like, it's no joke. You're gonna get to a level, and you got to understand. I got lucky. I'm gonna be like, this was my first mastermind and the only mastermind I'm really a part of. I was kind of part of the core one as well, but I'm gonna be honest, I got lucky, man, and I thank God that they put these people in front of me, you in front of me, and I struck gold, man. I struck gold on this group and all these people, and you got to understand that sometimes it might mean not to be the first one or the second one. You just got to keep searching for the people that are going to fit with your circle, right? And
Totally.
and I just think that it's gotten me to a level that it's like, dude, like I was talking to somebody this morning about, they're like, hey, like, and I was talking to you earlier. I was like, you're knocking out a bunch of stuff. I'm grinding. I'm doing it. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm only at 40-50% right now.
No.
They're like, what? I was like, I'm only at 40%, 50%. I'm like, I haven't even reached 90%, dude. They're really? I was like, I haven't even reached that yet. Like, I still have to unlock all these doors, like, I have to be opening up these doors and knocking on them. And the only way that's going to happen is by, creating those relationships. We all come from all different walks of life, but at the same time, we resonate so much with each other. And I think that's what people got to find is who resonates with them. And it's not always about taking.
No.
Is about giving.
Yeah.
There's conversation like talk to guys, hey, how you guys doing? Like, how's that? Like, it's not, even though we signed up for this group, and then there's probably other people that I have network with, and I give. It might be someone else's thing, but I'm giving. Boom, I'm just dropping bombs. Like, here you go, here you go, here you go, and understanding that it's a give and take relationship.
And give comes first without any expectation of anything in return.
Exactly,
right?
man.
And yeah, like you said, right, we were born to be in communion, bro.
Yeah.
And so you find your tribe, and man, you could take this to levels that you can't even imagine.
Oh, dude.
Right? You start doing things, and you start reflecting back to, man, I just did all that. Like, I'll have conversations with people, and then they tell me, maybe a month later or a week later, hey, what you told me really resonated with me, and I went to go do this, and I'm like, dude, I didn't remember telling you that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, sometimes it's not even you talking, man. It's just, there's a greater being. You know what I mean? And so I think that being in community and finding your tribe, finding the right group for you, whether that's RBO, whether that's whatever it is, find that group of individuals that are going to elevate you and that you could elevate with them and elevate them as well. So
that's true. So I always like to end off with like a kind of a question that I ask you, and then you can ask me whatever you want. But if you I'm gonna go back to when we're talking about kids and things right now, is like if you had the ability to have a kid that is 11 years old, had a lot of the same scenarios that you had as a kid, what advice and what guidance would you give that 11-year-old kid?
I think that one of the first things that I would want to do is build a rapport with him, right? Understand what's in his mind, right? Like, truly get to know the individual rather than trying to change somebody, right? Because we all try to fix, fixers,
fix it,
right?
yeah.
And so really not try to fix the person, but really hear them out, right? Make them feel understood. Understand where their circumstances are. Why do they feel the way they do? Kind of get into the core, right? Have them again look within, right? Allow them to feel and not give up on them, because I think that a lot of the times, especially with kids that are rebellious, right? A lot of people give up on them. You know, the school system gives up on them. You know, again, I remember teachers telling me like, you're gonna amount to nothing, and so really letting them know that not only telling them that I believe in them, but showing them with actions, right? That I do believe that they could be better, or that they could get out of the rut that they're in, and so I think the conversation would go in a much longer
Yeah.
version than
Yeah.
than a single
Yeah,
conversation. And
exactly.
I wouldn't want to give up on them, and
Nice.
I would continuously pursue them, even if they kind of try to push me away. I'd find different avenues
To get
to
back at.
connect with them and resonate and share my story.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time it's just hearing somebody else's story and saying like, wow, they actually are going through what I'm going through, so I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I'm not that different than I thought. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? And so again, just kind of resonating with them and not being judgmental.
That's nice. Yeah. And then one other thing is, in one word, describe yourself right now.
Wow. In one word, um, uh, empathy.
Okay. And why?
Because I realized that I could, again, I could, I could be in the mud with somebody, right? Even though I don't know the situation, maybe I've never been through it, and have empathy for it, right? Not sympathy, but empathy, and get into the mud with them and feel with them, and not try to pull them out of the mud, but actually be in the mud with them to feel, and then slowly
Pull them out.
try to pull them out, right? And so,
Nice.
and again, not carry it with me, right? Once we got out, it's not mine. It's not mine to carry,
Yeah.
and that's hard
Yeah.
because we take it upon ourselves, and then we lose sleep. We do all these
Yeah.
things trying to fix it, and maybe they don't even want to fix it, right? So it's like I'll
Yeah.
be in the moment with you. I'll have that empathy. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what losing. At one point I didn't know what losing a parent was like, and so I couldn't resonate with anybody. I couldn't even have empathy. I was just like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, you know what I mean? So now I could sit in that mud with somebody and be like, I don't know what you're going through, but you're not alone. I'm here with you, and I'm here to support you in any way that I can.
Nice. Nice. Now, before we finish off, I always like to have the guest ask me a question. Anything that you would like to know about me, or just anything.
I like the curveball. I should have known.
Yeah.
um, let's see. Well, I really like the question you asked me about one word, but you probably know the answer to that. So, um, if yeah, obviously you've have your business, and you've been successful at it, but if you could if you could have a if you could work on a relationship to better a relationship, who would that be?
That's a good one, dude. Um, my mom. You know, I would. Hopefully, I don't cry. I try not, to, or I'm trying to see if I can. Okay, so like my mom, man. It's tough. I said throughout the years, and being a adult, and just trying to resonate with things that my mom, tried to do for me when I was a kid and things like that. And then when I got older, I just, resentment. I don't know if she had resentment against me, or I probably had resentment against her, and but yeah, you know what, building that relationship, like, because I don't know, like, I don't know, if I'm gone tomorrow. I don't know if she's in, still pretty healthy, but I don't know, man. And I don't want to leave it up to assumption if I didn't try my best to do it, and um, RBO, that literally, after breath work, I went home and I texted my mom. I really didn't at that time. I didn't talk to my mom. Like it was through text every so often, and it was probably like a scattered throughout a couple years, man. Like
No.
I'll see her. Like I invite her over to my kid's birthday, and a lot of it had to do with my wife. My wife, like, you invite your mom over, and I just really, it was tough, man. I just don't. I was blank, dude. I just didn't know how to react to it, because I
No.
just didn't want to feel. Didn't want to feel, dude. To be honest, I didn't want to feel. I didn't want all the emotions and things that come out of me, and it's something I'm still working on, man. And I text her. I was like, I remember I had a sit down conversation with her, and I could barely get words out. I was just crying. I was just trying to, like, I want to try my best. We don't need to, like, it doesn't. One of the thing I'm proud of myself. I did was I had a conversation with her, and I told her, like, this is not gonna happen overnight.
Totally.
Okay, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take time to build our relationship. I love you with all my heart, and I love all, everything that you have done for me. But I want to make sure that we build a genuine relationship together. And it's been over a year and a half, and we text each other. And but at the same time, I'm doing a little bit more now in the texting. It's not just generic. Before, I'm gonna be honest, it was just generic. How you doing? Good. Love you. Bye. It's very like that now. Like, trying to put more effort into it, trying to do as best as I can, because of the fact that it's just like, I just don't want what ifs, man.
No.
I just don't want to. I don't want to leave this earth, and we'll leave everything on the table that I made my best effort, to have a relationship, or try my best to build a relationship. And it's okay, and I have to understand, and well, we both have to understand, like, you know, we can love each other, and it's okay if we don't have a fantastic relationship. It's okay, like, but we have to make an effort.
Right.
If we don't make that effort, then there's gonna be what ifs on both sides. Like, I don't know how she will feel if I die tomorrow.
Right.
She might have regret. She might have all that. I don't want to live my life like that, man. I want to try, especially with my mom. I don't have a father. I don't have a father, and I try to teach my kids, like, they are experiencing something that me or my wife never had. Me and my wife don't have a perfect marriage. We're not the best mom and dad, but we do our best, and we do give them something that we never experienced. And literally, I had really no. I had a couple male role models in my life. I had my stepdad, for a few years, and I had cousins, things like that. But I had to navigate this shit on my own as much as I can, and pull pieces together. And my kids, the only male figure they have is me.
Right.
It's me or nothing, and and I know, when it comes to my mom, I know she tried her best. I know that, I appreciate that, and I love that. And just certain things that she tells me, I'm proud of you, Mijo, for how you are as a dad, and it gets me, man. It gets me big time, dude. Every time she tells me that, because it's like shit, like, from somebody that see me from since I was born. She was young when she had me. I think she was like 16 years old, 17 years old when she had me, until, and I just really try my best to work on that, man. And just know that just with business, just with anything, just leave it out there, man. Just pour as much as I can out there, leave it out there, and what sticks, and I just know that I did it. I did my all, man. And you just go from there, man.
So that's beautiful, man, and that's the
know.
beauty of that. You're taking steps towards that, and you realize that you can only do your part, and she has to do hers, and she's got to be acceptance of the relationship, wherever that goes, and you know, keep making deposits. It's gonna take time. Right now it's text messaging. Later on it might be 3-minute phone calls, right? To lunches, dinners, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But keep working on it. You're on the right track, dude. And set no expectations, right? The expectation is,
Yeah,
I'm
and
just going to try.
yeah, that's all I'm gonna
it.
do, man. I'm just gonna try, and just like those little deposits. Some might be more than others. Some might be where I might see her, and we might have like a function together, and that's a big deposit. But then there's other ones that are just micro increment deposits, But no, man. Good question, dude. Good question, man. But no, I really appreciate you coming out here today, man, and making the drive in LA traffic, bro. 2.5 hours, but you got here, man. I
Worth it.
truly appreciate it, man. And looking forward to see you next week in Dallas, man. And that's gonna be pretty fun. And if you want to let the guests too, like where to follow you. I know you're working on your podcast as well, man.
Yeah.
And that's super cool. So give it a shout out. Where people can follow you at, and because I'm always a big advocate of supporting my brother, man. Supporting my brother and supporting people around me, because I think if I could walk around with all my buddies, I literally will have freaking like stacks of people on top of my shoulders, man.
Yeah.
Just because I just think that I think we need more of that.
Yeah,
we need more of that, supporting people. So
yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. It was wonderful to make the drive out. Completely worth it. Always love talking to you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me on the platform, and on Instagram, the real _ Adolfo, because there might be a fake one out there. So that's my personal, the real _ Adolfo. The business is Active Networks LLC, all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and hopefully we'll have you on the podcast.
That'd be nice, dude.
On the other side, and that is the battles within _ and that's the battles within _ again, all platforms. So Steve, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being on here, and thanks again, guys. It was a great episode. Looking forward to the next one. Stay tuned, guys. Have a great one.